Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, there's a bunch of leftoids losing their damn minds, trying to convince the world to cancel Jason Aldean's new song. They want really badly for no one to ever listen to this song ever again. It's deeply offensive, it's racist. They're calling it, or they're describing it as a pro-lynching song, making all of this noise, fueling all of this ridiculous hysteria. And as usual, the more these hysterical leftoids tell me not to watch something, tell me something is deeply offensive, terrible, and that it should be totally censored, well, the more interested I am in actually consuming what they're trying to destroy. The entire leftist media apparatus, as well as the corporation behind the song itself, are working to craft a narrative. Well, let's get to the bottom of this, shall we? We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so let's start off with the narrative, what the media wants you to believe. CMT, which stands for Country Music Television, pulls Jason Aldean's new Try That in a Small Town music video after Starr denies that it's a pro-lynching song and criticizes BLM. Leftoids are literally claiming that the nature of the song is racist, it's pro-lynching song. Here are the mega brain genius takes from The View.
So country singer Jason Aldean is getting backlash for the video of his song Not in a Small Town, which critics are saying is racist. It's got lyrics, racist lyrics, and images. You'll let him play anywhere? You own South Dakota now? Listen, you know, there are lyrics in the song, and I think, you know, he talks about life in a small town, and it's different, you know, and he shows these images. He's got folks from the Black Lives Matter movement, and he's talking about people taking care of each other. And I find it so interesting that it never occurred to Jason or the writers that that's what these folks were doing. They were taking care of the people in their town because they didn't like what they saw. Just like you talk about people taking care of each other in small towns. We do the same thing in big towns. You just have to realize that when you make it about Black Lives Matter, people kind of say, well, are you talking about black people? What are you talking about here? If we're talking about Americans taking care of each other, then it shouldn't be about Black Lives Matter. You should be able to show all the different things that have gone on in our country where people stood up and said no more. We do the same thing that small towns do. That's my 2 cents to that.
But as per usual, it's a whole load of you-know-what. I'll tell you why leftoids are so incredibly frustrated at Jason Aldean's new single. They're angry because he's actually telling the truth, highlighting the truth that they simply hide, ignore, or highlighting actions that they tend to justify. That's the reality. Whoopi Goldberg, in her response, was defending the actions of BLM activists, claiming that actually what these BLM activists are doing is the same thing that you're describing in your song, standing up for the people in their community, fighting back. Really? Since when is burning down businesses in your own neighborhood, robbing people, assaulting people, smashing retail stores and looting everything within them, since when is that defending people? Absolute nonsense. These far leftoids have their heads so far up there, you know what? It's kind of unbelievable. I mean, what they're doing, what we're seeing here on display, this faux outrage over this Jason Aldean song, is the exact reason why Jason Aldean's song is so culturally relevant in the current day. Because young people, and let's not even focus on race at all, just young hooligans in general, can feel like they can do anything, get away with anything, and then these leftoid clowns in the media are essentially gonna justify their actions, defend them, or pretend like it doesn't exist. Remember when Jerry Nadler claimed that Antifa doesn't exist?
It is true. There's violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa? That's happening in Portland right now? There's riots.
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Sir,
It's all just a figment of your imagination. Well, for those of us who prefer to live in the real world, prefer to live in reality, we're not going to buy into this bogus left-wing reframing of the facts. We're going to simply use our eyeballs. We see it. We've seen it all. And it's not even just about the BLM protests. It's about general lawlessness that has taken over big cities across the board. The rampant looting of stores, the organized retail theft, armed robbery, random assaults. We've seen it. We have the FBI statistics, which indicates to us that it's clearly on the rise and it's happening more so than ever before. We've seen the George Soros DAs refuse to protect law-abiding citizens, refuse to actually implement the law or enforce the law the way that it's written, or even worse, cities and states rewrite the law, essentially opening the door to this lawlessness. And the whole point of Jason Aldean's song was sending a very clear message that that's not going to fly in a small town because we take care of our neighbors, we stand up for our community. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it should probably be applauded. That should be the standard across the board. Oh my god, Jason Aldean made a song that's against lawlessness and crime and victimizing innocent people. What a racist. Are you kidding me? You know, if anything's racist, it's that implication. The implication that Jason Aldean is talking about black people. That's essentially what Whoopi Goldberg is saying. It's what most of these leftoids are saying, and what they're implying is that people who are committing these types of violent acts are only minorities. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jason Aldean never said that. I'm pretty sure most of the clips from his music video show a diverse cast of despicable criminals. The only person jumping to that conclusion happens to be you leftoids who view absolutely everything through the lens of race. It's ridiculous. And again, it's that clear irony or that clear hypocrisy. Leftists claim that they're woke. They're the modern social justice warriors. Very often on Twitter and other platforms, you'll see them invoke the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. Well, Martin Luther King Jr. very clearly stated that people should be judged based on their content of character and not the color of their skin. Yet leftoids view literally everything through the lens of race. Whenever analyzing any situation, the most important factor that tends to lead the discussion for them is always skin pigmentation. It's the most important factor when analyzing anything as a leftist. Meanwhile, on the right, it seems like the focus tends to be actions, character. Race is not even part of the conversation. I mean, the song itself literally focuses on actions. Let's just read the lyrics. Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. I literally don't see anything about race. It's focused 100% on action. There should be no outrage over this song. To be honest with you, this should be the song that they perform at the damn Super Bowl. But no, instead, probably Cardi B is gonna take that slot, huh? Which song is more offensive? Which song is more detrimental to the betterment of society and culture? I mean, you could sum up Jason Aldean's new song very simply and very clearly as "Don't commit crime. There are consequences." It's essentially a 3-minute song with one very clear message: F around and find out. And we're supposed to be outraged and gaslit into believing that we're crazy. And actually the song is pro-lynching. Based on what exactly? Let's see these fact-based arguments.
And unfortunately, this became the #1 song on US iTunes. We have a problem in this country about race, and the biggest problem is we refuse to admit that it exists.
Well, don't you think that a lot of this big city, small town businesses race is about race? The cities have more black people than the small towns.
And oh, well, those small towns, those are the white racist peoples. I mean, really? Jason Aldean's hometown is Macon, Georgia. They're claiming, oh, those are the most racist places in the country. Really? United States Census Bureau data. Macon-Bibb County in Georgia. 38.4% white, 54.3% black or African American. Jason Aldean is literally from a black community, and he's writing a song about his community not tolerating BS criminal behavior. Oh, but he's a racist white male Trump supporter. Here are the facts. Rightoid chud is probably what some leftist is saying. Jason Aldean music video filmed at, quote, lynching site, Associated Press claims. Well, actually, it's a famous courthouse where Hannah Montana was filmed. Unbelievable. It's nothing but fake news, gaslighting, propaganda, irony, hypocrisy. In other words, another day absorbing left-wing idiocy. I don't know if I'm gonna make it, and I don't know how many more years I can survive of this nonsense. All these claims, all this propaganda, all the gaslighting is just completely ridiculous. It's disingenuous, it's destructive as usual. And like usual, like most woke things, and most ridiculous cancel culture efforts, it's backfiring and backfiring big. Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town shoots to #1. What a surprise, huh? The Streisand effect never ceases to amaze. country music television should be ashamed of themselves for pulling the song. This is the kind of messaging that I actually appreciate in music, instead of whatever garbage and filth is being promoted to the younger generation with all the trash pop music these days. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Another leftist narrative, very easily decimated. Same conclusion as always. The left is full of you-know-what. Make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.